All right, Peter, hold on. Take a beat. Close your eyes. I want you to imagine something. Just close your eyes. Before the empire, before the children, before the marriage, before being officially a U.S. citizen, streets of Los Angeles, two lost souls, just drinking coffee, bosom buddies. That's an 80s reference. We were roommates for a brief period.
Yeah.
And you were training celebrities on movie sets. I was a gym owner, which I should have never been. I should have never been a gym owner. And God, the simple days, no responsibilities, just drifting.
Well, first of all, this is my podcast, not your podcast. So let's get that straight.
I had to get I had to drive my steak first because I knew I would just be steamrolled.
No, but I was going to start in the same place and just say, so when some of you guys know this story, obviously, some of you don't. I came to the US in 2016 and met John Kim. At that point, John Kim, very unsuccessful, kind of depressed, kind of miserable, living on his own.
I was a miserable fuck, yes.
Just very, and then he met me. And then at that point, he was an unpublished author or was working on his first book. He was about to come out, but, generally very unsuccessful and financially limited. Ever since that moment, 2016, his life has kind of flourished. 5 books later, marriage, kids, extremely successful. And I'm not saying it's all because of me. But there's definitely a correlation.
You definitely repositioned me. Yeah, there must have been something. I think you gave me some kind of energy, insight, mindset. Because if not, I probably would have just hit a dead end. I don't even know if I would be alive if I met you, to be honest.
Yeah. It was a pivotal moment in both our lives. So yes, I came 2016. We lived in an apartment together in Los Feliz. John had been there for a while, and I joined him there. He was writing. I was basically just looking for we started the Pharos project, but it was in its infancy, and I was working with Emily and with Jeff, and we were just kind of hanging out. And John was the guy that taught me to ride motorcycles. We had some run-ins with the police in Los Feliz because I was unlicensed at that time.
Yeah, you weren't even with Emily at the time.
No, it was before Emily. Yeah.
Wait, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
So at that time, was your dream to always open a gym? Because you were just kind of coming off of movie sets and
kind of. I think it was, and I think every trainer goes through this. It's like, where do I go from here? Right, so it's like I'd become a personal trainer. I'd become a successful personal trainer. I was doing the movie stuff, which at that time, like in the industry, everyone's dream was, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing to be a personal trainer on a movie and train movie stars,
travel,
do that whole thing, per diems. And it was, it's financially, it was great. And obviously there was a lot of opportunity. I met some great people, but it's kind of a finite existence, right? You can't do that forever unless you just want to be a traveling Wilbury. So
wait, but there is a point though. There is a point, I think you even told me, before it gets bad, there is a point where it's actually amazing.
Yes,
it's
hotels,
per diems. I mean, you have tons of money, you have a lot of responsibilities, kind of a floater, drifter.
Yeah. And had it gone on forever, like, or had it continued for longer than it did continue, like I would have been happy. Like it was a very fun time.
It's probably also very lonely.
It is.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel lonely at the time because, I had, I was meeting a lot of people, I was making a lot of money. I was getting to travel and I love traveling. But yeah, it is the point where you have to make a decision of like, do I want this kind of a life or do I want a family and do I want kids and do I want to settle down? Because I wasn't a young man at that point. I was in my late 30s, 40s was coming on fast. And I knew that I wanted to be a dad and so forth. And I knew I wanted to establish myself somewhere. So LA became that place because I came here. I liked it. I met you guys. I met Emily. I met Jeff. And honestly, it was never my intention originally to be in LA. Like I always loved Austin. Austin was my place. That was where I thought it would end up. And LA happened because of Jeff and Emily. And then, it just became what it became. But I think in the beginning, it was just about laying down some roots and having a place to call my own and being like, this is something that I feel like I can build. Because the movie stuff and the personal training stuff, like I said, it's so fun and there's money and there's excitement, but there's also a shitty side to it. There's a dark side to everyone knows there's a dark side to Hollywood. It's kind of like everyone's kind of in it for themselves. It's a little bit cutthroat. People backstab you. People say shit. It can be a little, a little unsettling. So, and I'm not really that kind of person. So, for me, having something that I could stabilize myself in, call my own, build something that I could say like, we built this. And have something concrete, I think was important to me. Maybe subconsciously at the time, I didn't really know why I wanted that. But, I think that's what I needed.
And it feels like a lifetime ago, but you, even though you got this place, we started in a little shed.
Yes,
Which actually, some of my most fondest memories is before you guys went fancy.
Yeah,
it was
totally.
just a little shed.
Yeah.
And I think because we all worked out together, we're friends,
Yeah.
just an afternoon we would sweat together in this tiny little shed, and it just felt very Fight Clubby.
Very Fight Clubby. And I've talked about this recently, but that is essentially the origins of CrossFit and why CrossFit was so good in the beginning, because it was kind of culty. It was kind of like Fight Clubby. It felt anti-establishment somehow. It felt like you were going against the grain of what like trend was, and like you were getting away from like mirrors and like everything being about aesthetics, and you were getting back to like just working out hard and having fun with friends. And that's what CrossFit was. That's what the shed was, and that's what we try and hold on to here. As we evolve Pharos and as functional fitness, whatever you want to call it, has evolved. The essence of group training, the essence of working out with friends, and getting back to some fundamental human movements. I think that still has to be a core of what we do. That still excites me. That's still like my best days at the gym are days working out. Me, you and Andy did that workout recently in Idlewild. Like days like that when you're just having fun with friends.
Yeah.
They are the days. They are the days that I look forward to and the days that I remember. There are times when I like to go to the gym and train on my own, and I'm sure you do too, and just kind of get inside your own head and just have that kind of alone time. But there's also a time to flourish with friends and make it exciting and enjoyable and social, and it not be just about working out. It's really about spending good time together.
Yeah, I find that what I get from your gyms, all of them, is the community first. Taking a class, chest bumping people, saying hi. For me, because I live a very lonely life, I'm either talking into my phone or writing a book.
Yeah.
When I come to the gym, it's my time to actually engage with people.
Totally.
So
yeah,
I get that more than the fitness, and then the fitness comes along with it.
Well, especially with you, because I think in your heart you really are an introvert, right? You're not really
I'm an introvert.
Yeah, if you meet John in person, he really is an introvert. Like you'll see like a social media side of John, which seems more extroverted, because obviously he's doing these retreats and he's doing these groups and he's meeting these people. But in his heart, he really is an introvert, and I think the gym gave you an outlet. I mean, you talked about it before on the podcast where you went through your divorce, and then the gym really became an avenue for growth, for you to like change and grow and find yourself again almost.
The spirit of me is a 10-year-old playing with his Legos for hours in his room by himself. Partly because I had no friends. No, partly because parents were never home, and I always used creativity to escape and hit flow states. And that turned into breakdancing, skateboarding, etc. But that's always been who I am, who I was at the core. But of course, you have to be extroverted to have a social life,
Right.
So,
to a degree. Yeah.
To a degree. So after that, I would also go out and make an effort to connect with the neighborhood kids and have a life, or else I would just get bullied and not have a life. So you're right. And I think you have that too, because you're also a writer. You have a pensive, reflective side as well as the physical stuff, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of writers tend to be introverted, really, because it does take a degree of kind of like introspection and reflection and kind of internalization of experience.
Are you? So would you say you're an introvert or extrovert? Somewhere in the middle.
I think I'm complicated, man.
You're very complicated, Pete. Is what is that? Just a nice way of saying? Okay, so let me ask you this: where do you get your recharge? Because I see you in social events and you are extroverted, but you also kind of go home early. And
yes. It's weird because I like being around people and I like to give energy away, which sounds weird, but I do like that. I like to give myself to people, and whether it's in class or whether it's like a social event for Pharos, I like to give as much of myself as I can to people because I think they deserve that of me. But at the end of the day, like I like being at home. I'm an early to bed guy. I don't like partying anymore. I had my 20s. I was a young man once, but I like to be at home. I like to shoot my bow. I like to ride horses in the countryside.
Those are all very alone kind of things.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And it's something, obviously I ride horses with other people as well. But, if ever you ride horses, it is kind of like I'd say that probably riding horses is the one thing that brings me the most peace right now. As in like, I'm just there. I'm not anywhere else. I'm not thinking about anything else. It's just very, very calming to me. It's very, very therapeutic for me.
When you
And
say
it's like riding a bike, like
Yeah.
a motorcycle. It's
Yeah.
the same kind of thing.
That's what
Like
I
you have to be present, you have to be in the moment. You can't think too much about anything else. But I'd almost say even more with horses, because it's you're on an animal. You're on an animal with its own instincts. So you have to be very there with it.
Is there a connection to the animal that's different than when you're on a motorcycle? Because
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Is there almost
Yes.
like a trust, a relationship?
Totally, because
Yeah.
a motorbike's a motorbike. It's a machine,
Right,
right?
right.
Whereas you're on an animal that has its own feelings and its own processes and its own instincts, so it can react to anything at any point.
Yeah.
Now, of course, when you're on the road, there's fucking idiots all over the place. There's accidents that can happen, so you have to be very mindful of that. But the bike is responding exactly as you want it to, God willing. Like nothing goes wrong with the bike. But a horse can do anything at any minute. It could be spooked by anything,
Right,
and
right. And lose trust.
So yeah, so you have to be very, very present with the horse, and to me that is a very calming thing. And obviously, I love, now that I have my two boys who are my life, like I love spending time with them. And I think my biggest, the hardest thing I think about being a business owner, and operating at the capacity we're operating at the moment, is that kind of guilt of like, should I be spending more time with my kids? Should I be, at the end of the day when you're stressed and you've been through a lot and many things have happened that day, and then you go home to your kids and you're carrying all that stuff with you, and all they want is an hour of your time to play, and you're just carrying all this stuff, and you're trying not to be short, and you're trying not to like lose your temper, and you're trying to be just present with your kids. And I think that's the hardest thing when you are like, I hate the word entrepreneurial, but if you are kind of entrepreneurial in any sense, you're trying to build something,
to not bring that home.
To not bring that home, and to try and just let your time with your kids be your time with your kids. And luckily, like I've got Wyatt in BJJ now, and he's doing T-ball. Levi will just come along and he'll just play along, and he loves just being with his brother.
Yeah.
So that's great. So those outlets have been useful. But again, it's a difficult time suck because we live in Idlewild. The BJJ's in Hemet. That takes 40 minutes to get there, 40 minutes to get back. It's an hour lesson. That's 3 hours of time. It's like, everything is difficult time-wise for us right now. We've never had, me and Emily, both our parents are not close by.
Right.
So we've never had help in that way.
Well, and you guys have 2 kids now.
And we have 2 kids.
Well,
So
not only 2 kids, I would say 2, 3, 4. You guys have 5 kids if you include your gyms.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah. So between the 4 gyms and the 2 kids, and managing the whole operation, it's definitely been very hard on us. And again, not having any kind of like close by parental help, it's really been hard. And I know you guys talk a lot about relationships, and it's been really hard on our relationship.
Sure.
Because we're both so in it together. It can feel very hard. It can be a lot of pressure on us both, and to feel like we can never get away from it.
Right.
Like if you have a partnership and one person's in one job, then it's stressful, and one person's in another job and it's stressful.
Right.
But at least when you come together, like you're in different worlds, so you can just enjoy each other's time and not think about the two.
Yeah.
With us, the work never goes away because we're just both in it all the time.
Oh, right. So when you come home, it's just a continuation of it's always, even just the energy is lingering, or even if you don't talk about it, it's
exactly.
Still like looming,
and even when you make the conscious decision, we'll say like, we'll go after dinner. Okay, we're not going to talk about work. It just fucking creeps in because it's just unavoidable, because it's just so ingrained in everything we are doing right now. Because it's not just, if anybody owns a business, you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially gyms. It is a 24/7 operation.
Yeah.
Like there are emails, texts, problems. Like there'll be a text at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. There'll be an email. There'll be something that cannot let you get away from it. And that's
you're
difficult.
just putting out fires every day.
You're putting out fires every day, and you're trying and you're trying to hold on to your love, and you're trying to hold on to your relationship, and not be like corrupted by the stress that you both feel that's related to work. But it's hard.
It's almost like, because I believe that there's your partner, and then there's this thing that you're building called a relationship with this, which is its own living, breathing thing. And so when you have a life like you, where you're getting up at 4, you're commuting a couple hours, and you've got multiple gyms, tons of employees, 2 kids, you're stretched thin like that. It suffocates the relationship. So the thing that you guys are growing, that is its own thing, starts to deflate because there's only so much time in the day. So if the energy and the intention and effort is all going to spreadsheets and numbers and work, there's no time at the end of the day for the relationship.
Yeah. So it gets really hard to nurture, and you have to make, like I said, real conscious efforts to do it. And it's also hard because you both want to have hobbies. Like I said, like I like to go horse riding.
Oh, so
I
when
like
you
to shoot
said
my
shooting
bow.
the bow, that wasn't a metaphor. You literally meant shooting a bow. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about something that happens in the bathroom, but okay,
Yeah.
this is like a
No, I'm literally
dad
shooting a
jokes all
bow.
day.
And you know, both of those, you know, if one of us is doing something, then the other one has to watch the kids.
Right.
You know, so it's either like we're all doing something as a family, or Emily's doing something and I'm watching the kids, or I'm doing something and Emily's watching the kids. So then it can be hard for us to just have time, you know, for ourselves. And we have friends, obviously, that do help us out and have watched the kids for us. But sometimes we'll get sitters, but as you know, it's a very expensive affair to get like sitters to watch your kids for long periods of time. So, you know, that's just one of the challenges I think we face as a couple.
Yeah.
Like balancing it all.
So first, thank you for sharing this. I think your members, everyone listening to this, actually appreciates that the owners are transparent and that
Totally.
and you're not trying to pretend to be that you're actually just when you share your struggles, I think you're coming with your owners instead of at them or around them, you know, and so it produces a trust, you know. But I want to say something as a therapist. I got to say, so what you're talking about isn't just you guys, it's an epidemic.
Right.
It's kind of the
modern life.
It's modern life. It's us tracing what we and I was tracing that too. It's funny, Pete and I, although kind of starting in the same place, we have very different lives, right? Even though I've never been in fitness, but we have kids, we're married, but we have very different lives, and we could go into that. But I always was chasing the picket fence as well. I always thought brick and mortar, house, kids, that was the dream. But no one tells you that when you have 2 kids and multiple businesses, like the more successful you become, the hard, like something's got to give. Like you almost can't have everything, you know?
You can't, yeah.
And I just know as a therapist, like you said, hobbies, your own friends, mutual friends, and your relationship, dude, that can't be that has to be almost at the top because it makes you better at all the other stuff. Yeah. So like when things are good at home for me, I have a cape. I want to dominate. I want to fucking go build my empire. If things are bad at home, if there's resentment, fights, if I'm not getting along with whatever it is, I'm not at my potential in my work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
So then you kind of go into work just a lukewarm version of yourself because home is in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's like
it is that thing, like you hit the nail on the head. It's like you both want to be the best version of yourselves you can be, both for your business and for each other. But I think me and Emily have both got this thing right now is like, we need to be in this for 5 years to get it, just to stabilize it.
Well, I was going to ask you, what is kind of the solution? What is the lighthouse? What is what you and Emily see as kind of okay, how do we stabilize this?
I mean, really, as you guys know, if you've been following our journey, obviously we've grown very quickly in the last few years with the 4 gyms and stuff. So that's taken a hell of a lot of leverage and a hell of a lot of financial commitment. We've had to obviously borrow a lot, leverage a lot to get to where we are right now.
Wait, number one is don't open another gym. Pete,
no.
Don't open another gym. I'm going to start a petition. I'm going to have all your members sign it from all your gyms. Don't open another gym.
Yeah, but the goal right now is just to obviously make sure everything is running well. Yeah. We have some great employees, some great teams. We really need to like keep investing in those teams, keep building up those teams so the operations just run smoothly. All the gyms are profitable. And, we pay off debts and we establish ourselves as a leader in the industry, which is what we want to be, which is what I think, in terms of like gym facilities and programming and coaching and kind of our ethos, I think that's what we are. It's just like now we have to like, okay, we're here, we have the 4 gyms. Let's just stabilize this thing and make it as good as it possibly can be. Right. So I think both of us are like just in that mindset right now of like, this is just going to take a lot of work and we just have to fucking suck it up right now. And we will get to a place where we can, pull back a little bit and feel less intensive. I think because we're both Aries, whether you believe in like star signs and all that.
But we're all Aries.
We're both, you're Aries too. So we've always been very like gun ho, very headstrong, very like just fucking do it. Yeah,
workhorse.
But you get to a point where it's like, if we continue to go down this road, we are both going to just get burnt out. So we need good people to help us do this. So our investment now has to be in people, in finding good people to help us who want to be with us on this journey and to help us grow this thing and make this thing sustainable. I think we've always taken a lot of responsibility ourselves and been like, well, at the end of the day, like the budget falls on us, the finances falls on us. If we can't pay ourselves, that's my fault. If I can't make rent, that's my fault.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
And also, is it really your fault? Because there's a lot of uncontrollables.
There's a lot of uncontrollables, but at the end of the day, who am I going to blame? Like, there's no one to blame. So you have to just take it on the chin and be like, again, if we can't make rent and if I can't pay everyone's payroll and I don't take a salary, then that's just the way it is, because I'm, responsible for the business. And that's happened multiple times. Just because of, like I said, the growth, the pandemic, the financial constraints of that, the strikes, everything that's been happening in LA, like, it's put a huge pressure on small businesses. And we're just trying to come out of it the other side. And we will. It just takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think both of us in our minds, like, we just got to get through, this period of our lives, again, and I know a lot of you guys have gone through this, so I'm not, we're not exclusive in this in any way. That, we had the pandemic, we had the strikes, we've had all things with the city going on. And then we've had the growth, the 4 locations, trying to, like, spread ourselves between them, trying to make each gym know that we are behind them and we believe in them, and that we're present, and that we're not, like, ignoring them because we're in another gym. It's like we're all part of the same team here. Everything needs to go together. So I think, we just need to, like I said, stabilize, make sure everyone's in the right position. We have some amazing employees. Just making sure everyone's happy in their work and everyone wants to help us build this thing and everyone feels like they're in the right seat. It's very easy to get the right person in the wrong seat.
Yeah.
So right now it's all about just getting the right person in the right seat, to make sure that they're happy in their work. Because if people are not happy in their work, then it's never going to work. You have to find the people that want to do this, that love this, that want to help us build this, and that want to grow with us. Like I said, because then, they take on a share of the responsibility and the load. A rising tide raises all ships, whatever the saying is. It's like you have to grow this thing together, because ultimately, as a business, I'm not in this for me and Emily to get rich. I'm in this because I want to provide a valuable service to the community and to the social groups around us, and I want to give a great life to my employees. I want them to have a great life.
Well, it's okay for you and Emily to get rich too.
I'd like to have some money.
Don't you want some things? Because I know you want a ranch and some things. Yeah.
And I want Pharos to be that place where people go, and we always say this a lot, but I want this to be the best part of people's day. I want them to be like, Pharos was always the place I could go to and have a good time. Yeah. Pharos was always the place to go. I got great results, but I had a good time doing it. Right. Like, I want it to be like that light space in someone's day where even if you're having a fucking shitty day, you can go to the gym and turn it around. Like, because that's what it's always been for me. Like, the gym has always been that place for me. Working out has always been that place for me, where it's like I can turn a shitty day into a good day. I can turn a bad mood into a good mood. It should be that kind of like shining light in your day. So we always want to be that. And I say this a lot to everyone I give a tour to around any of the gyms. Like, my litmus test for all my gyms is, would I be a member of this gym?
Right.
Because I build the gyms that I want to be a member of, because this is what I need to thrive.
Right.
So if I can answer yes to that question, then I'm doing something right. And I just hope that, like, other people get that same thing out of it that I get out of it. So yeah, I think, it's been a really tough 5 years. I think we're at a good place right now with the gyms the way they are. We love all our gyms. They're all,
Wait, has it been 5 years since the shed? More.
It's been 8 years.
So yeah, I was going to say, So let me ask you this. In the 8 years and where you're at now, what are some revelations about life in general? Have you had, because you're not the same person you were.
No,
years. I mean,
I think, I think ultimately.
Or has dreams also changed? So your goals for the gyms have not changed.
Yeah. The only dream I have is one of simplicity.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want expensive cars. I have no desire to have expensive watches or anything like that. I just want simplicity. I do want a ranch. I do want animals. I do want to live. I want my kids to grow up outside. I want that to be a home that they can always look forward to coming back to. I want it to be surrounded by nature. I want them to be off computers. I want them to be off social media. Thanks for listening to this on social media, by the way. But I want to give them the opportunity to have that kind of existence, and I want it to be a good kind of like simple life. I don't want to create a complicated life. It sounds weird, but I've said this before. It's like, I just want to have enough financial security that I can live a simple life.
So that's kind of where we overlap. We have gotten here in different ways. I've never had a brick and mortar. My team's online. Everything I do is, I'm nomadic. And I like you don't drive anywhere. Pharos is the furthest I drive, which is 20 minutes, and we've gotten to the same place, just in different ways. And I know I'm older than you, but for me, it took the house burning down. But now what I want, because before I did want shiny things. I did want a collection of Porsches and all that.
Right.
And I'm a gearhead. I'm always going to want some toys. But I'm at my life where I also now, as a 52-year-old, dude, I just want to like Marie Kondo my life. I just want simple and quality over quantity. So whether that is a few good friends or just a couple of good days, I don't need all the toys. I don't need all the like in my closet, I've got like 3 pair of pants. I wear the same shirt, and I almost needed my house to burn down, which I would have never wanted for myself. Yeah, to have this completely like a cold shower.
For you guys that don't know, John lost his home recently in the Altadena fires, and at first I think it felt obviously like a tragedy. It was terrifying. It was horrible. But I think it almost gave you like this, almost like fresh start,
a second life,
like second life.
Yeah, I'm almost, man. It's hard for me to talk about it because I'm not in the place where a lot of places are, where they didn't have insurance, right? Where it really was a fucking tragedy. Yeah. So for me, when the house burned down, okay, let's put it this way: if 2 weeks before the house burned down, let's say like a genie came to me and said, "Listen, 2 weeks from now, you're gonna lose everything. You're gonna lose your house, your ice plunge, your motorcycle. I just got a brand new motorcycle, customize it. All your toys, you're gonna lose. Just everything. Everything that Vanessa owns, you're gonna lose it all. Yeah. But from that, you're gonna have insurance. You're gonna be okay, and it's gonna change your mindset where you guys are actually going to leave the country, which you never have the courage to do, and experience something outside of LA. Right? Do you want that? If someone asked me that, I would have said, no, no way. I would say no. I don't want any of that. Yeah. I love my life. It's safe. Get away from my shit. I'm good. But now, so if a genie came now and said, do you want to put it back in the bottle? Like, do you want to, I will get let's reverse time and we'll go back to how it was, right? You could have your little simple day, your cappuccinos, your Pharos, your motorcycle rides, you do your little retreats, and then, ice plunge. You could have that back, have the house back. I would say no. Yeah. Because after the event, like something has changed in me where it's like, we would never have the courage. Right. We would just talk a lot of shit. Oh, let's go to Europe for a year. We've always wanted to, but to actually pull the trigger, you start thinking about your child and all the friends that we just would never do it. Yeah. But we are forced to now. Yeah. Go start over, simplify. We are forced to, when everything burns and you really have nothing, including wedding rings. I mean, you get to, of course it's sad and traumatic, but you also get to start life over. Yeah. You're forced to. Yeah. So you're like, do I love these pants? No, fuck it. Yeah. How is this friend to me? Oh, we're kind of, okay, let's spend less time. You get to reinvent your life with what you know now.
Yeah. It's that forced resilience. And, I'll say that this whole American journey for me, came from that place. Again, when the movie stuff ended, I didn't really have a plan, but I knew I didn't want to just go back to being a personal trainer in England and in gym box. So I had to come up with a plan. You have to do something with your life. So it's like, fuck it. Because I've told this story before on the podcast, but I literally bought a one-way ticket to the States. I didn't really have a plan, but I said to myself, when I bought that ticket, I'm not coming back until I've made something of myself. Luckily, I've been able to save up some money from the movie stuff. So I came to America with $6 in my pocket. I'm not The Rock. Right.
You were wearing leather jackets and shit.
I'd managed to, put some money away, but it was that thing of everything I've made, I'm going to put into something else. And I'm just trying to build something up and trying to make something of myself. And that came again from forced resilience. That movie stuff could have continued if things have gone differently for 10 more years.
Oh, it would have been comfortable.
It would have been comfortable. It would have been easy. I would have made plenty of money.
So that's the boiling frog. So it's an analogy where the frog in the water doesn't know that the water's getting hotter and hotter, and then suddenly it's boiling.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes you are forced into these things, and at the time it feels fucking miserable. But the change that it creates in your situation and in you can put you in a better place, in a better space, which is where I think you are right now.
Yeah, and it's also terrifying. Listen,
Yeah,
Costa
totally.
Rica is humid, and listen, I can't order Grubhub. It's gonna be. So look, the first
You're gonna have
few
to start
weeks,
fishing. You know that.
I'm gonna have to wear fucking straw hats and
Yeah.
shit. So I'm trading in the Harley for a surfboard. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna happen that is going to activate me and make me feel, because I'm a city boy. LA is all I know.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
to be in the jungle, man, it's gonna be
dude,
confronting.
I think this is the interesting thing about you is, for a man who's never really traveled.
Thank you for calling me Amanda.
You're pretty worldly. Like you have a broad view of things for someone who's never traveled. Like I think if you sometimes when people don't travel, when people don't go outside of the US, they can kind of have a narrow mindset about things.
Yeah.
But I think you've always been very, very kind of broad-minded in your outlook. And I think this trip, or this, the journey that you're about to go on, I think is going to just open you up even more.
I hope so, or it's gonna, or it's gonna.
Well,
fuck me up.
either way, you learn, right? You learn about yourself and what you need, because maybe you realize you are a city person. Maybe you need, I do need the city to thrive. What you'll probably realize is that you need a little bit of both.
Right.
You need some kind of like isolation, nature, all that stuff, but you also need the
Whole Foods.
You also need Whole Foods. So you need people. I mean, I say this all the time. It's like, you watch that show Alone ever?
Yeah.
So that show is just the best show, A, in nutrition, and B, in like social needs, because we are not born to be alone.
No,
we cannot deal with it. We cannot deal with isolation for too long. We need people around us. The reason people quit that show, yes, they're hungry, yes, they're tired, whatever. But the main reason they quit is because they miss their friends, and they miss people, and they miss their families. They can't deal with being alone. So I think that's what you're going to find. I think you're going to find, fuck, this is amazing. I can surf. I've got nature around me. I can eat all this fresh fruit. The quality of the food's going to be better. The quality of the meat's going to be better. But you'll probably miss people, and you'll be like, okay, this has been great for a while, but now I need to get back to some sense of like.
You're absolutely right. The make or break is going to be community.
Yeah.
So if I go there and I find an amazing community, whether that's, locals or fitness or whatever, that will definitely, if I build my own community there, I may not come back. If I don't, then you're right, because that's the biggest thing, is feeling alone in this world.
Yeah, and I think you'll come back, wherever you settle, wherever you end up settling when you come back here. I think it'll be in a place where you have both of that, where you have far enough away to get some privacy and some nature, but close enough that you can have that interaction.
Yeah,
I think that'll be where you end up, and that's honestly where I think we are. Like me and Emily, like I want the ranch, probably in Garner Valley. There may be other places I end up going, but I want to be as far away enough in nature that I have that space, like I can grow things, I can have animals. But I never want to be so remote that I don't ever see people, because that would also drive me nuts. Like, I'm a social person. I like being around people. I'm not good. Funny thing about me is I've never really been single. Like, most of my life I've been in relationships. Ever since I was 18, I've always been in long-term relationships.
Right.
So it's weird that I never spent, and I probably should have done it some point in my life. I should have spent more time on my own, but I honestly don't think it's very good for me. I don't think.
It's not good for you now, but you should have been single on purpose. Sold everywhere wide. Anywhere you buy books.
New York Times bestseller.
Back in the Los Feliz days, you actually were single for a little bit.
I was single for a little bit,
but not that long. Not that long. And
Yeah,
then you met Emily. But I do think like everyone should be single for maybe 4 or 5 years, just to find themselves.
I think it's healthy to do that. But yeah, I don't know what that says about me, but I think, again, if I spend too much time on my own, it's not actually good for me. Like, I do get in some weird places in my brain, and it's kind of scary. So I'm better off I need someone to kind of level me out.
Do you even though so many people, obviously hundreds from your gyms, do you feel alone these days? I'm assuming that happens as well, right?
I think there's definitely an isolation that comes from ownership.
Because no one can understand you. Because you're not talking about also friends. Like, listen, from the 15 years or the 8 years that we've been doing this, let's be honest, none of our relationships are the same.
Yeah,
mean, and this is just life, man.
We're all hundreds of miles. Like, I'm 100 miles from you now. So
I mean, this is what we're not friends with people we went to high school with. It's just it's life. So we all kind of change, evolve, grow. I mean, even like between us, the amount of stuff that's happened, even though there's overlap, we live very different lives.
Yeah,
and that's the same with everyone who we were friends with.
There's a great scene in Yellowstone, the greatest show of all time.
Never seen it.
With John Dutton, where he's like, he's the owner of this ranch, and he's saying like he can't socialize with the people that work for him because you can't mix that it's really hard to mix that relationship. And I am friends with a lot of a lot of my employees and a lot of people that work for me, and I try as best to be that person that they can like just call up for a chat and to hang out with. Sure. Like I'm trying to have this thing where I'm trying to like take a member of staff for lunch every week just to have a chat, just to get to know them, kind of thing. But in reality, there's always going to be a separation because I am the one who's got to pay them at the end of the day, or there's the dynamics of the relationship changes. You're not just friends. There is a work relationship there. So it's kind of difficult. It's
called a dual relationship.
Yeah. And it's also difficult, like you said, like just to see friends as much as I used to. And to, it's so easy just to fall into the habit of like, I've been seeing people all day. I just don't want to see any more people. Like I don't want to have any more conversations. Yeah. But I think we do a pretty good job in Idlewild of the community that we have up there of like having dinner with other parents, other friends. Yeah. That we've met through the Idlewild gym.
Well, you guys have. Well, this I do think is amazing. You guys and beautiful. You guys have built a whole life in Idlewild. So you're like the mayor. You guys know everyone.
It's been great for us. It's been great for us. And like I said, I think there's a lot of like, not that I'm young. I say young families. Like I'm not young, but there's a lot of a lot of people that went to Idlewild probably post pandemic to raise a family and to have kids. And we've connected with those people because we're all in a similar situation. Everyone's trying to make it work, as in, it's hard to be in a place. You can't draw enough revenue from that place alone. So you have to have something else. Like Idlewild's never going to generate enough. If we just had that Idlewild gym and that was it.
Yeah, it's
never going to generate enough revenue. So everyone there's in the same position. They have one job there, but they also have another job somewhere else. Yeah. Like my friend Juliana, she has the El Serrano store. She also works for Olokai, the shoe brand. She's a shoe designer for them. She also has land, which she's trying to establish this regenerative farm. So everybody's like multitasking.
But that's like the new thing. That's like so the days of saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? A doctor or a lawyer? Like people now do multiple things.
Because you have to. You have to, yeah. Because no one's got fucking a plan for when they retire anymore. Like, my dad and that generation, they all had investment plans for when they retire.
501ks.
Yeah, but a lot of us don't.
Well, especially if you're an entrepreneur, there is no plan.
Yeah, there's no plan. You're just trying to, whether it's land, whether it's business, whatever it is, you're just trying to like get to a place where, okay, I can bank enough money that I can afford to retire. Right. But yeah, I think our generation is it's just in such a different space from the generation before us when you think about the future. But I think most of us have multiple revenue streams because we have to, because you just can't make enough. Everything is so expensive now. You just can't make enough and this is the problem again with running a gym. You're trying to create this ecosystem where you can give everybody an affordable wage and create a beautiful life for everybody, but everything's so expensive. It's almost impossible. Yeah. Like we would talk about it all the time. Like I want to be able to pay everybody as much as we can possibly pay them. But the gym only makes a finite amount of money. Like I can't just like generate wealth, unfortunately. So it's really hard to think. Like I think about a lot of my coaches. Like how are you going to do this?
Well, the days of because I grew up in LA my whole life. The days of coming to Los Angeles and pursuing a dream or wanting to be an actor, and I'm just going to wait on tables.
Right.
Not possible.
No,
not possible.
You can't live. Yeah.
The rent is now $4,000.
Yeah.
For a
exactly.
1 bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah. And not even for anything fancy. Just basic. Just basic.
Yeah. So LA is now, I think, more expensive than New York, which is another reason why we're getting the fuck out of here. But anyway, I want to say something. Bring it back to this theme of shedding, because I don't want your audience to think like, oh, just two fucking guys complaining the whole episode. Hey, look, I'm not complaining. Listen, okay, the shedding. That's the theme of 2025 for me, shedding and redefining.
Yes.
And so bring it back to fitness, I've only done CrossFit. I don't know anything else.
Right.
And this is the first time in my life where I'm like, how can I do something else? How can I have fitness, but no longer CrossFit? And there's a part of me that's like, has a lot of anxiety and resistance. Like, what am I going to do? And what's going to be better? And I'm just so trained to do the short metcons and all the lifting.
I think the way to think about it is CrossFit was always meant to make you better at life.
Yeah.
So it was always meant to make you better at surfing, better at like being in the wild, like all that stuff. So you're just taking the skills that you've taken the time to build over all these years, and now you're actually putting it into practice. Now you're actually doing those sports.
In Costa Rica, do I now, work out in my backyard? I mean, the closest gym is about 20 minutes, but it's called Flamingo Fitness, and it's just a generic. They have some HIIT classes and stuff. And for anyone like me who has done a certain type of fitness for a long time, is now forced to do something new, it's kind of terrifying.
Yes. Yeah.
I also feel like, and let me just insert here, when Pete first met me, I was $140. And I remember we were at Mindset and he was filming me. I did 250-pound back squats for 20. And I think his jaw dropped and he's like, oh my God, look at this guy. He's $140. He did more squats than I did. I think you were 300 pounds then. Yeah. So anyway, coming from there, no, I'm saying I'm gonna lose strength. I'm not gonna be strong.
Yeah.
I was doing squats the other day, and I just can't live. I mean, it's like it's
already happening. But I think you will do that. I think you'll end up building a little gym at your place.
Why do you have to say little? Why is
you're not going to build a big gym in your place?
Because everything you do is so big. Yeah. And all the meals you have are so big, and you always make sure that everything I do is tiny.
Yeah, everything is tiny. No, but I think you will end up. Yeah, you have a little gym, and that's where you'll do your squats and your bench and all that kind of stuff. Then you probably will go to that Flamingo place a couple of days a week just for some social interaction. Yeah. But then also the surfing. You'll get probably into hiking because you'll want to do some hiking.
So it's going to be a mixture of things you're saying. You're going to have to customize something. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think
so. It's been easy when you have a great gym. You just have to have smart feet and show up. That's what's been
exactly. And I think it's very easy to fall into that habit of, let's take fitness and gym as what is it really for? It's meant to help us live long, healthy, flourishing lives. It's very easy to fall in the trap and then just spending all your time in the gym. And then just, you become a gym rat because it's like, I like being in the gym. I like how it makes me feel. So I'm going to spend all my time in the gym.
I know what it is. What CrossFit introduced to me that was very motivating, the dangling carrot, but also kind of dangerous, is the leaderboard.
Yeah.
So now me creating something without a leaderboard or being competitive, that's what's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard. But again, I think
that's how you're training right now. I mean, do you even CrossFit? No,
I do CrossFit a couple of days a week, but I don't give a fuck about the time really.
Right. So you've already dropped that stuff.
I don't really need that stimulus. I just like the fun of it. I just like the fun of working out with other people. Yeah. But I think, again, to go back to it, it's like the point of CrossFit in the beginning was to make you more functional for life. It was to give you the tools and the strength and the endurance to do things like surfing, hiking, running, like all that stuff in the wild.
But then it became a sport.
Then it became a sport.
Inject ego, inject competition,
exactly.
Inject
and then it becomes addictive. And then before you know it, you're spending 3 hours in the gym every single day because you want to be better at CrossFit for no reason. Then you're just addicted to it. So I think you just have to take a back step and say, okay, I'm going to do this stuff to make me good at this other stuff, So I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a little bit of both. You're going to have a little place at the house. You're going to go to that Flamingo place. You're going to surf. You're going to be outside. And honestly, it's going to be such a good life. Like that kind of balance is going to be awesome. And you're also going to, what are we on now? The 6th book you're working on right now? 7th book.
7th book.
What's it called? Do we know yet?
I turned in 2 books. One's a memoir called Burning Down the House about what just happened.
About what we're talking about right now.
It's my version of Green Lights. Oh, you think that's funny? Pete gave me the first compliment he's ever given me in 8 years. He called me Korean Magnum PI.
Look at him,
KPI. I can't grow a mustache, but I'm trying to. Hey, that's because he used to call me Jackie Chan. I'd rather be Magnum PI than Jackie Chan. That's when Pete was racist. He's not racist anymore, but
I was not racist.
All my friends were.
But I think I just want to congratulate you on that because that's a huge achievement. 7 books. Because I think you were working on your first one when I first met you, right?
Yeah. When I first met you, I was broke. I was drinking coffee out of styrofoam. I couldn't afford to go on dates. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't horrible. I shouldn't say horrible. We all need to start there. But also, how old were we? I was like 30.
38.
Yeah, it's like 38.
Yeah.
Late bloomer.
But with the book, with the writing thing and the book thing, it's been really interesting because I guess it's the same with all authors, but how it's kind of defined your journey and your growth. And now this just feels like such a not a bookend because there's going to be a lot more beyond this, but this feels like the end of a chapter, like at the LA John Kim.
There's chapters. We'll have chapters, and then we have act breaks. An act breaks is not a chapter. That's when there's a whole. It's when your house.
Yeah,
burns
this
down,
is the end of
right?
Act 1.
Or you go through a divorce. It's something where you coming to LA from the UK. That's not a chapter. That's an act break.
Yes,
right.
Totally. Yeah. So this feels like a big act break, and it's going to be really interesting to see like where your mind goes from here.
Dude, I might fucking you might be like, dude, who is that guy? He's fucking nuts now. He's like lost his mind.
Just drinking your own pee in the jungle.
Just just fucking woo tanning my taint, just wearing all white, trying to be a fucking I might go that way. I don't know. We'll see. I might.
You might. Well, I'm going to come down and see it. I'm going to try and see what becomes of John Kim.
Pete on a surfboard. That's gonna be worth it alone. Pete on a surfboard.
Remember that day we went?
Can you swim?
We went. Yeah, I can swim.
Oh yeah.
That day we went surfing. Do you remember? I think it was me.
I don't know. You and I are like dumb and dumber. Yeah, it's bad. Surfing's hard.
It's hard.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah. It's like a real sport. It's like when I play soccer now, it's like I'm so sore from playing that because my body's like it's just not there anymore.
But you're too big.
Yeah, I'm too big.
The amount of energy it takes just to move your body,
just to change direction.
So like, just imagine you in the water trying to get on a board and away.
It would be ugly. It would be laughable. It would be laughable.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I'm excited for you, my man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Like I said, guys, I've known John for probably 9 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And he's always been a good friend to me. I'm going to be sorry to see him go, but I'm really excited for what's going to come next for him and his family. And I think you're going to do great down there. I think you're going to have a great time. Congratulations on all the books. What's the next one coming out?
Love Hard. It's going to be the final of the On Purpose franchise. It's called Love Hard On Purpose, and that closes out that box set. And then Burning Down the House is coming out 2027.
So Love Hard will come out in 2026 or this year?
Yeah. I have a book out every year almost until they stop buying books from me. But 2026 is Love Hard, and then 2027 is Burning Down the House.
And what's the idea behind Love Hard?
It's a collection of all love relationships, from how you used to love to how you love now to how you should love. So it's broken into 3 acts, but it's my love Bible, if you will. Yeah, from being a therapist for so many years.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
I've never written a book about love. That's my first one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What have you learned about love?
Nothing. No, eventually you learn so much that you come full. No, it's like fitness. Totally. You're like, I'm a student to it.
Yeah.
Like you know so much about fitness. Yeah. You're probably like, you're gonna get to the point, or maybe you are, where you're like, actually, I want to start from day one.
Right.
Like, be a complete student.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can never know everything about everything.
Is Vanessa, Vanessa John's wife, are you in a very similar mindset right now about what's about to happen?
Yeah. She's a little more, a week, this is something Pete would also probably say too, and people got mad at me for saying this. A week after my house burned down, I was saying, okay, we can finally turn our house around. And people were like, it's too soon.
Yeah,
like,
too soon.
Dude, we're fucking crying, and you're
right.
So I was seeing silver linings before. I should have kept it to myself.
Right.
So Vanessa had a lot more. She lost a lot more. Like the
sentimental
ring,
things.
The ring that her grandmother gave her as she was on her deathbed, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't lose much. She lost a lot of stuff, and that house meant something. So it was our first house. It had memories. It was neighbors. Yeah. So it wasn't just a house, but it was the breaking up of that whole neighborhood.
Yeah,
that we lost. Right.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about like, oh, well, the dreams of Logan growing up in the house, and those are all gone now. So
it's funny though. It's like we started this podcast talking about Fight Club and how CrossFit felt like Fight Club in the beginning, but it's almost like that quote from Fight Club about the things you own end up owning you.
Oh, right, yeah.
And now you're in that place. Ooh. Like this is almost like Fight Club. Like you lost everything that was defining you, and now you get to redefine yourself in your own terms.
This is why Pete's a writer. See, he connected those dots. We threw a boomerang and fucking Pete caught it at the end. He brought it back. That's called setup and payoff. And so paying off on not only fitness, but what's the quote? Everything that we own, we lose?
The things that we own end up owning us.
Oh, the things that, yes. And that's why I'm going to say, if you want to reboot, light your house on fire. Fucking burn your house. Literally burn your. Well, make sure you have insurance. Well, let's make sure you have insurance. If we didn't have insurance, I would be in a very different place. Yeah. If you have insurance, go burn your. I mean, don't tell anyone, but go burn your house down. Yeah. And that is therapeutic. That is prescribed.
But hey, I think the lesson is that things are things, right? Things are just things.
Dude, I got so right after my house burned down, by knee jerk, I put in an order for a new road glide.
Right.
It was $40,000 because I customized the shit out of it. I was like, I'm going, and I was about to pull the trigger. I was like, wait a minute. Why do I need this?
Yeah.
What is it? And yes, I do like motorcycles, but I was just doing it because I wanted things, because I needed something shiny, because I held
Yeah.
on. Also, it was tied to my identity.
Yeah.
And I kind of like thought about that. I was like, do I know? And so I canceled it.
Yeah.
And once I canceled it, I felt naked.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, who am I now? And I don't, what.
Right.
And so sitting in that, I think on the other side of that is the reinvention. And that's what's going to be confronting now.
Yeah. I've been having this conversation with myself lately, because obviously when you ride motorcycles, you do think about the safety sometimes. You have your kids and stuff and think like, is this a dumb idea? So I don't ride to LA anymore on my bike, just because it made me stop enjoying riding, because it was just a miserable experience, and B, just the safety of it. Like, this is just a dumb idea because I've got my kids to think about. So I only really ride like short distances around like Idlewild and Garden Valley and stuff like that.
Well, you found it in horses. You found the same.
Yeah, and then it's like if someone was to say to me, you can never ride a horse again, I'd be devastated. If someone were to say to me, you could never ride a motorcycle again, I'd be like, all right, like whatever.
Right. It's not your true thing.
But that new fucking Fat Boy that came out, that thing excited me.
Yeah.
And I haven't been excited about a bike. So Glendale Harley, if you're listening, if you want to sponsor me, I will accept that new. What is it? Yeah. The gray?
I don't know, but you like that, green, and you like
Fat Boy.
You like. But it's okay to have both, to want both, and to use them for different reasons.
Yeah.
I want to end with a motorcycle story. Speaking of motorcycles, Pete and I just discovered a motorcycle. Pete was only on a motorcycle maybe once or twice. He didn't have a license.
Yeah.
Also, you didn't have a license. You didn't have a green card. Like there was a lot. You were just fucking here playing around. And I got him an extra bike to borrow. And so me and him went riding. I've been riding for a lot, and I had a license, so I felt safe. We go riding, and we turn on the street. And for some reason, there was like 8 cop cars. There must have been something that happened on the top of the street.
Yeah.
Pete is on this bike that is probably too small for him, going up the street. And I'm just sitting at the bottom watching him. I'm going, oh, my God. And he must be terrified. And I see him doing a turn, and it's like Austin Powers. The turn in Austin Powers where it takes 50,000 so slow. And I was just sitting there going, oh my God, he's shitting his pants. Because if the cop pulled him over, it'd be like, where's your license? I don't have one. I mean, it would just be And he was on this tiny bike trying to turn around. It took him like 3.5 hours. Oh my God, that was one of those.
It was a funny moment. But those were good days. Like when we were like really excited and.
We would have stress. There was a worry.
We would go to Glendale Harley all the time and just look at bikes. And that was pre-pandemic LA, which felt like a different place. And they were just fun times. That was that's kind of like my heyday in LA. I think those early days when we were riding motorcycles, we were just all having fun. Yeah. We didn't have the same stress and pressures that we have now.
Spike ball at the beach, big dreams. Yeah. There's something about when you have big dreams that haven't happened yet, where there's a freedom in that. Yeah. Once your dreams start to come true, there's responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot of responsibility comes along. Yeah.
Anyway, Pete, I want to say one thing to you, because I don't know if I'll ever see you again in this life. Let's be real. At the rate things are going,
John Kim might be lost in the jungle.
Dude, one thing I've always loved about you that I think is special. I think not just me. I think everyone, including your family. You have the biggest heart, man. You have a big heart, and that the spirit of you always shines through, no matter what you're doing. Whether you're stressed out, whether I don't talk to you for a year, it doesn't matter. You're always the guy that just always has like this fucking big heart, And so I appreciate that in you. And
Thank you,
man. Yeah, I want to make sure I say that because. Once your house burns down, you never know. Like things could happen in this world overnight that the unthinkable can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. I love you. I wish you the best. Thank you for doing this today. Make sure you check out all John Kim's book. There's 7 of them.
7 of them.
It's a lot.
Thank you.
And we wish him the best on his journey. And you can follow him along on. You're going to keep up your Instagram.
I'm going to continue documenting my story.
Yeah, so it's at The Angry Therapist, right?
Can you freeze my membership?
Yes, I'll freeze your membership. No, you got to keep playing. You've been on a special deal anyway.
Hey, by the way, my favorite Pharos gym is actually the one in Idlewild.
It's fun, huh?
It's my favorite gym.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be in the mountains.
Equipment's amazing. It's intimate. It reminds me of the old days, and that's why I love it.
Yeah. It's a cool spot. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening today, guys. Great to have John on. I think it's probably our 4th or 5th podcast together. But like I said, it's a pivotal moment in John's life. And, he's been a big part of my life. So I wanted to have him on today just to kind of say goodbye and kind of wrap things up. And like I said, I'll probably never see him again. So wish him good luck in the afterlife. And yeah, we'll be back soon. We are now fully open in Palm Springs. Please come and check out that gym. It's an awesome facility. It's on 3455 North Indian Canyon Drive. Amazing gym. Come check it out. Obviously, we're open here, 1316 Glenelg Boulevard. We're in Idlewild, little town. You can't miss it in the mountains in Idlewild, little gym. And then we're in the South Bay in Redondo Beach. All great gyms, all good people. Come check us out and have some fun. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Be well.
Thanks, John.